Looking back, I believe that not knowing anything about writing or publishing worked in my favor. I was free to write just as I had been free to make up stories inside my head when I was 9 years old. There were no rules. There was no critic on my shoulder taunting me. No censor warning me that I was heading for trouble. My work has saved me when I was sure I couldn't cope, when I was sure my personal life was falling apart. It's given me a strength, an identity, a reason to keep going. I think there must have been something in the water in Elizabeth, New Jersey, because the town produced quite a few writers. Mickey Spillane, for one. Does anyone remember I, the Jury? My Uncle Bernie taught Mickey Spillane in high school. Do you remember when Mike Hammer discovered she was a real blonde after all? It took me a long time to figure that one out. And just a few miles away in the Weequahic section of Newark was Philip Roth. I am more connected to Philip Roth than he will ever know. And I'm not just another fan, although I surely am a fan. His mother and mine went to high school together in Elizabeth. When Wifey, my first novel for adults, was published, my mother ran into Mrs. Roth on the street. Mrs. Roth had some advice for my mother. Look, Essie, she said, when they ask you how she knows all those things, you say, I don't know, but not from me. When you write a sexy novel, old boyfriends crawl out of the woodwork and contact you. Yeah, they're all sure they missed out on something hot when they were teenagers. Believe me, they didn't. My favorite wifey letter, though, comes from a stranger. You're rude and crude, depraved and lewd. You're caught in a moral crunch. You're vexed, perplexed, and oversexed. So when can we have lunch? How sweet it was in the first decade of my career. But then, my life as a writer took another turn. Unexpected and frightening. I never dreamed my books would become a target of the censors. I mean, this is America, right? Aren't we supposed to celebrate our intellectual freedom? That's what my parents taught me. That's what I learned in civics class in 6th grade, ironically, at about the same time as the McCarthy hearings. I've always believed that learning to think for yourself, learning to make intelligent, thoughtful decisions is one of the most important parts of an education. So it makes me sad and very angry that encouraging young people to think for themselves is seen by some as subversive. I never planned to become an activist, but things happen. You either take action or you don't. Standing up and speaking out for what you believe in, well, it feels a lot better than doing nothing. And while you're doing it, you find out you're not as alone as you thought you were.